I also saw, I think there's one video, it was at Minnesota, right? And you guys got arrested after the game or something?
My God,
Detained? What happened
we got that was my that's a great. I totally forgot. I always tell myself that I don't want to remember that. That was my first 8 hours with them.
there? That was your
So
first one?
so we
Holy,
drove from Chicago. I landed in Chicago, and we drove to Minnesota, and we were there for that game.
yeah.
And the game was on a Friday night. So I flew in Friday morning, and then we drove Chicago to Minnesota. Is like I don't know, a couple hours, and we immediately got out of the car, hitting the tailgates, go to the game overtime thriller, and the other videographer wasn't with us. He wasn't. He was with Harry. He was with Pigeon Vision and Bob doing something else, like tomfoolery stuff. So it was just me and the main guys. I'm like, okay, I have my responsibility is this channel's in my hands. And they give me no filming reins, whatever. So we're first row. And what happened, field goal, game winner, comeback win. And we were already anticipating and talking, like, are we storming the field? We're talking to other students, like, don't leave us high and dry. We're storming, right? We're doing this together. They're like, yeah. They rage baited us. They totally got us. So Chip, who's in overalls, he goes, jumps first. Now it's a steep drop. So he goes, and fireworks are going off. And then I give the camera to Matt, the next guy, and he jumps down. I'm like, okay. And so he's got the camera. I'm like, all right, I got one distance. I'm like, they're going to fire me if I don't jump. I was like, but this is so trespassing. I'm in Minnesota. I don't know these guys. I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Here we go. Jump. Almost sprained my ankle. I take the camera, and in stride, I take the camera from one of the boys in 98's hand. And in stride, he hands it off, and the cop takes his arm and like puts it behind his back. Now the cops, I don't know why they didn't they just knew that I was with them or I was just like press or staff because I was wearing Minnesota stuff. So they didn't but I mean, like hands gripping on both of their shoulders. So now it's like boys in 98, and we're walking. And I'm like, I'm shitting bricks. I'm like, I'm about to get arrested. I'm in Minnesota. I'm all across the country. My family's in Florida. I was like, all right, this is the beginning of the end. So then officers take us back. They take us back to this room. And the police officers were like, IDs. Now, we already talked that we're not going to give our IDs. We say like, oh, we lost them, or, I have a paper ID, but because we were trying to get out of there. Like, we had so much responsibility. We had 13, 14 more weeks ahead of us. So they bring us into this back room and they ask for IDs. We deny and we say no, like we just don't have them on us. So then they press down, they find our wallets, they take our IDs, and we sweet talk the hell out of these officers. Be like, listen, they even said, they're like, we're not even from this country. We're not even residents. We live in Canada. I was like, I live in Florida. I was like, I'm here so I don't get fined. And they let us go. And we had to explain what we were doing. Said we have a YouTube channel. We didn't mean anything by it. We were filming. And I just had the biggest cojones. The entire interaction, I had my camera and I was just like this filming, and they couldn't see it. And to the point where I'm just trying to do my job. Like, I don't want this to go south. Like, I want to make sure we get this content. This is huge. First video. Like, you're kidding me? Sick. So to the point where like the boys in 98 guys were like, yo, chill. Like, it's okay. You don't have to film. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm like, I'm right here with it. And that was, no charges were pressed. We got off easy. They just said that if we recognize you guys at a Minnesota game, if you guys try to do that again, then there's going to be consequences. Yeah. We're like, totally understand. I was like, we're not even going to be back. We're literally going to Iowa next week. So
it's a gritty ass story. And I watched that Minnesota thing before this too. And I could tell, like, was it Chip, the guy next to you, the taller guy with the mullet?
That's Matt.
Yeah. That's all right. So Matt was like, he's kind of hysterical. Like he was kind of like laughing. He was like tripping a little. And I remember the camera got flipped to you, and like you could tell, you're like stone cold face. You're like, I'm fucked right now.
Yeah.
But
When we got to Iowa, we reflected, and they said on the podcast, they're like, Tim is the GOAT. Like, they're like to the other videographer, like, you would have never done that. And I was like, yeah, I turned it around, self-logged it. If I'm gonna go out, I'm at least gonna go out like looking like a badass. So
you,
put it in the
you got
video.
this.
I gained the respect of a lot. Like everyone that watches the boys, they're like, what? Like this new Tim guy, like that's sick. Like he's for the boys. Like he'll do whatever. So I gained their trust, but they also didn't really. We all didn't have a choice. We all boot ganged it and we jumped. But it's just all for the content.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Somewhere on the screen should direct you to somewhere else in our channel. But as always, believe foolishly.